Hello there, fellow sci-fi fans. Today I'm going to talk about one of the best female heroes in the history of science fiction, Camina Drummer. By the way, I made a list of the Expanse-related videos on my channel for your convenience. Here comes the juice. In a genre filled with flashy heroes, brilliant tacticians, and unstoppable warriors, few characters stand out quite like Camina Drummer from the Expanse. She doesn't dominate the screen with superhuman strength, nor does she always have the smartest plan in the room. But what she does have, and what makes her truly unforgettable, is something far rarer: unyielding willpower, disciplined leadership, and a moral courage that holds steady even when the universe threatens to rip itself apart. From her first appearance, Drummer commands attention, not through force, but through presence. As a belter, born and raised in the unforgiving void of space, she embodies the spirit of a people who've spent generations living in the margins, exploited by the great powers of Earth and Mars. Her loyalty to the Belt isn't just political, it's personal. Every choice she makes is grounded in her desire to see her people respected, safe, and free. What sets Camina Drummer apart from the typical strong female character is that she doesn't need to prove she's better, faster, or tougher than the men around her. In fact, she often isn't. But in moments of crisis, she is the one who refuses to flinch. Whether she's diffusing mutiny aboard a ship, standing up to corrupt OPA leaders, or risking her life to save a fellow crewmate, Drummer chooses the hard road every time. Her leadership is rooted in discipline. She holds herself to a brutal standard and expects the same from those around her. She doesn't tolerate cowardice, corruption, or emotional shortcuts. And yet, she isn't cold. Beneath her stoic exterior is a well of empathy and grief for the friends she's lost. Drummer's story is never about glory. It's about responsibility, principle, and the loneliness of leadership. She doesn't seek power, but when it's given to her, she bears it with quiet dignity. Even as factions fracture and alliances shift, she remains steady, not because she knows everything, but because she knows who she is. In an era where female protagonists are often defined by how much they can outfight or outwit their enemies, Camina Drummer is a rare and refreshing answer, a woman who leads not by dominating others, but by never backing down from what she believes is right. Her strength lies in endurance. Her influence comes from trust, and her legacy within the world of the Expanse is one of the most human and heroic of them all. Drummer's loyalty to Johnson is hard-won and absolute. She doesn't tolerate betrayal or weakness, not from others, and certainly not from herself. In Season 2, we see her act as his enforcer, his confidant, and his conscience. She helps manage OPA operatives and maintain security on Tycho, as the station becomes a hub for political intrigue and covert operations surrounding the protomolecule. Despite her sharp edges and no-nonsense demeanor, Drummer's actions are deeply driven by a vision of justice for Belters, a world where they are no longer used and discarded by inner planets. Her connections to the broader OPA movement are complex. While she works for a more organized, almost institutionalized version of the OPA under Johnson, Drummer retains strong emotional and ideological ties to the radical roots of the organization. She grew up in the Belt's harshest conditions, and her anger toward Earth and Mars is not easily soothed. A key relationship that begins to develop in Season 2 is between Drummer and Naomi Nagata, a fellow Belter and engineer aboard the Rocinante. Their friendship is subtle but significant. Naomi, like Drummer, is torn between loyalties to her crew, to her past, and to the Belter cause. Drummer sees in Naomi both a kindred spirit and a challenge. They are two different visions of what a Belter can be. Drummer more militant and pragmatic, Naomi more compassionate and torn. Season 3 of The Expanse marks a pivotal chapter in Camina Drummer's journey. No longer just a security chief on Tycho Station, Drummer steps into a role of immense responsibility as she becomes the captain of the Behemoth, formerly known as the Nauvoo. The massive generation ship, repurposed into a symbol of rising Belter power, becomes both a political chess piece and a battleground. As captain, Drummer finds herself navigating not only dangerous space anomalies, but also the fragile and fractious politics of the OPA, all while trying to hold the Belt together in the face of internal and external pressures. Taking command of the Behemoth places Drummer at the heart of Belter history in the making. For the first time, the Belt has a ship that can rival Earth and Mars in scale and presence. But that opportunity is also a burden. As a leader, Drummer is fiercely principled, determined to show that Belters are capable of order, discipline, and strategic thinking. Her command is tested immediately, not just by cosmic threats, but by challenges from within. One of those challenges is the unexpected reunion with Naomi Nagata, who joins the behemoth to assist with technical systems and work alongside Drummer. Their relationship, which began with mutual respect and cautious solidarity, begins to fray. Naomi is torn, her heart remains with the Rocinante crew, particularly James Holden, and she eventually announces her desire to leave and rejoin them. This decision hits Drummer hard. It's not just the loss of a capable engineer, it's the loss of a friend and a reminder that Drummer, for all her strength, often stands alone. She sees Naomi's choice as a kind of betrayal, not only of her, but of the Belt's cause. Their friendship doesn't end, but it is deeply strained. Meanwhile, Drummer is forced into an uneasy alliance with Claes Ashford, a charismatic and ambitious OPA pirate assigned as her second-in-commander. Their relationship begins with distrust and power struggles. Ashford is a traditionalist with a flair for politics and a past steeped in rebellion. Drummer is blunt, no-nonsense, and wary of theatrics. They challenge each other constantly, in meetings, in decisions, and in ideology. But over time, what begins as rivalry slowly morphs into mutual respect. They don't always agree, but they begin to see the value in each other's approach. Their bond is sealed during a life-or-death moment aboard the Behemoth. When a catastrophic accident traps Ashford, Drummer chooses to save him in an act of self-sacrifice that leaves her paralyzed from the waist down. In that instant, we see the full measure of her character. She does not hesitate. She does not mourn the cost. She acts because it is right, and because despite their differences, she values Ashford as a comrade. As the Behemoth becomes central to the events around the ring gate and the slow zone, Drummer continues to lead despite her injury. Confined to a motorized exoskeleton, her authority is undiminished. When Holden takes on a critical role in deciphering the alien structure inside the ring, Drummer once again proves her allegiance is not just to politics, but to humanity's survival. In the climactic scenes, she fights alongside Holden and Naomi, setting aside past tensions for the greater good. In Season 4 of The Expanse, Camina Drummer steps into an increasingly complex political role within the OPA. After the events surrounding the ring gate and the slow zone in Season 3, the balance of power in the solar system has shifted dramatically. With Earth, Mars, and the Belt all vying for access to new habitable worlds, Drummer finds herself no longer on the fringes of influence, but near its very center. As one of the OPA's most respected commanders, Drummer serves as the co-administrator of Medina Station, a critical stronghold inside the ring space. Sharing command with Claes Ashford, her former rival turned trusted ally, Drummer is now responsible not just for military operations, but for diplomacy, order, and the symbolic legitimacy of the Belt's presence in this new era of expansion. But this new position is fraught with moral and political tension. Drummer has always stood for a version of the Belt that is disciplined, just, and independent. Not beholden to Earth or Mars, but also not given to piracy or terrorism. However, as the OPA transitions from a revolutionary movement to something resembling a state, she finds herself surrounded by opportunists and power brokers, including Anderson Dawes and Marco Inaros, who represent the darker, more chaotic forces within the Belter cause. She struggles with the compromises and hypocrisies that come with governance. The Belt, long united by shared oppression, is now fracturing, with some Belters eager to become legitimate partners in colonization and others ready to burn everything down rather than cooperate with the Inners. Drummer, caught in the middle, begins to question the cost of leadership. Is the Belt gaining power, or merely mimicking the corruption of Earth and Mars? Her relationship with Ashford deepens during this season. The two share a functional, even affectionate bond, built on mutual respect, shared history, and their desire to protect the Belt from both external exploitation and internal rot. Though they still challenge each other's ideas, they have grown into a balanced team. When Ashford proposes a dangerous mission to eliminate Marco Inaros, whose extremist vision threatens everything they've tried to build, Drummer hesitates. Not because she disagrees with the threat Marco poses, but because the operation falls into a moral gray zone she's no longer comfortable navigating. This moment reveals a crucial change in her. She no longer believes that every risk is worth taking, especially when the consequences are unpredictable. Drummer's most significant development in Season 4 is not dramatic or action-filled, but internal. She becomes increasingly disillusioned with the political machinations of the OPA leadership. Her ideals, justice for the belt, equality among the planets, and honest leadership, are slowly being eroded by backroom deals and ideological extremism. She begins to realize that the belt's greatest enemy might not be Earth or Mars, but the belt's own inability to unify around a sustainable vision of the future. So that's it. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.